Hi everyone, my name is Kate Edwards and I am the Chief Experience Officer and a co-founder at SetJetters, and I would like to welcome you to King's Landing. I am here in Old Town Dubrovnik on the southern coast of Croatia, and as probably as a lot of you know, this is where a lot of Game of Thrones was filmed, as well as Star Wars and some scenes from other films. So while we're here, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour of some of the scenes and filming locations that you'll find in the SetJetters app. So we're here on the walls of Dubrovnik at the highest point on the walls, which is called Minčeta Tower, basically the highest pinnacle that's closest to the hills that is behind Dubrovnik. Now the history of Dubrovnik is incredibly rich. This city was founded somewhere around the 7th century AD, and from there it has flourished. At one point, and for a lot of its history, it's actually known as the Kingdom of Ragusa because it was its own independent state, with this city being the capital city of that kingdom. And when it comes to filming locations, this is a great spot to get a shot of almost everything that you can find in the city. Besides there being Game of Thrones scenes actually on this tower itself, we have out over here the Red Keep, which was used in Game of Thrones, the castle over here. Down below that in the bay, we have a stone pier that was used for several scenes, famous steps where Cersei does her shame walk. And out there on the island, where there's an arboretum, a lot of shots from Game of Thrones were filmed out there to represent parts of King's Landing. Not part of Game of Thrones, but the main street, which is down below me here, that's where they filmed from part of Star Wars Episode 8. Now that we're on the seaward side of the wall of Dubrovnik, you get a fantastic view of Fort Lovrijenac, which is what doubled as the Red Keep in Game of Thrones in several seasons, and they filmed a lot of scenes both outside and inside this building. And then if you look down in the bay here, which is called Pile Bay, you can see the stone pier that juts out, and that would also serve to several scenes in Game of Thrones. And one really cool thing you can do is that down around this alcove, right at the base of the castle and of the city, is where you can rent sea kayaks. You can actually go out on the ocean around the city. It's a lot of fun. The city was actually a focal point of part of the attack by Bosnian forces, which were stationed up on the hillside right above the city. And I highly recommend that if you do visit Dubrovnik, you can take the cable car to the top of the hill, visit the war museum that is up there, and there's also a great little cafe to have lunch. Now this area of the old city of Dubrovnik is pretty recognizable to most Game of Thrones fans because this is where the infamous Walk of Shame scene took place, where Cersei had to basically walk through the King's Landing for her transgressions against the High Sparrow and its followers. This area is known as the Jesuit Steps, and there were different scenes that were shot in this area during the series. So besides all the fantastic Game of Thrones filming locations, which Old City of Dubrovnik is really known for, another famous film that was shot here not too long ago is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Most of the filming that was done was for the sequence in the film about Canto Bight, the casino planet, and it was filmed right along this street here. They did mostly night shots, but then they also did a couple of day shots as well. In fact, I just captured a fantastic shot scene right now, the almost perfect lighting in the late afternoon. So here in the old city of Dubrovnik at the intersection of Ragusa and Cersei Street, you can see evidence of the attack on the old city during the 1991 war. And so this map will give you a really great indication of which areas were damaged and to what extent, as well as where the direct hits were from the attack that happened up above the hill on the city. Now, unfortunately, today we're not going to be taking your trip across the water to Lokrum Island, but it's a great place to visit if you have enough time here in Dubrovnik, because there's a beautiful arboretum out there, lots of trails and hiking you can do on the island, and actually there's a lot of Game of Thrones filming locations there. There's an arboretum where many scenes were shot, so I highly recommend going there. And of course, if you don't feel like going across the water, you can always take a great break at this amazing bar on the outside of the wall here in the Old City. So that's it, everyone. Thanks so much for coming along with me on this tour of Old City Dubrovnik. I really hope you enjoyed it and seeing what kind of scenes are available to you in the SetJetters app from Game of Thrones and Star Wars, and I'm sure other things will be filmed here in the future. Please like this and share it. Tell your friends and family. Download the app. I hope you get a chance to come here and you will be prepared to find all these amazing scenes. Also, if you find that there's a scene that is not in the app from your favorite film or television show, you can submit the scene right from within the app, and you can go to SetJetters.com and do it from there. So thank you so much, and happy SetJetting.